didn't expect to go live with that screen on. I just didn't get it right there this morning. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday. It's a rainy day here. Normally I like rainy days, but today is this kind of in the same mood, right? Gloomy mood. I have a challenge as far as what I need to do today, and I think there's a little bit of that. I have already tested the concept, and we did stream back last year in October with the same thing when I did it. In fact, I need to go ahead and see if I can copy that here. Forget. I think that's it. I have yet to ever figure out why copy is Control V, but that YouTube right there, that link should take you to the other time, and I'm going to check it here real quick. Yep. Okay. Okay. So this is all right. So that link is when I worked with it originally, back in October. And it's a shave it and save 'em project, okay, for the passport. And I have 4 ounces to work with. I wish I had bought more. I didn't. And so the original idea is that the Navajo are rug weavers, and the Navajo Churro is their adopted breed. They have brought it and kept it and use it for the rugs. And therefore, I was wanting to do at least a small weaving project, not a rug, obviously out of 4 ounces, but something where I made warp and weft. And that link there is where I made the warp and weft. Well, in the process of rethinking this, and yes, my t-shirt says, hold on, let me overthink this, because I am constantly changing course in the process of spinning my fiber. Anyway, to rethink it, I decided that I would just make the weft. 2 reasons. I still can use it to weave with on my small loom, but I will use something else for the warp. Okay, so hi Mass Bandit. So since I want to submit the Navajo Churro that I'm going to spin for the passport, I just want to submit the yarn. I don't want to submit a weaving project because I think I'm going to have to use a warp that is not the Navajo Churro. When I spun the warp with this Navajo Churro, it was a single, but it was just really, really tightly twisted and would not have probably warped well. So I'm going to stick with the weft, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I'm going to be doing it on my Aura. I have a lovely fiber. It is a gorgeous gray color. As you can see, I've started a little bit here. How are you today, Mass Bandit? This is the fiber. Now, yeah, you can see it's coarse. It is not next to Skin Soft. It is rug yarn, right? Absolutely. And they have a very unique traditional way of spinning this. Oh, some of my pictures are upside down. That is going to be fun. If you're seeing that the pictures are flashing there, I just have been working on that, and I think some of them are upside down. Didn't do a whole lot of editing. Okay, so they had a real traditional way of spinning it, and I was not able to spin it their traditional way because it requires their big Navajo spindle that is like a drop spindle, but not a drop spindle. I mean, it's huge and it sits on the floor, but your spindle spinning it. Instead, I wanted to spin it on the wheel, and So I decided that I would do it as a two-step process. One, spin the single with another one upside down. Spin the single with it a bit over twisted, and then reverse that to soften up the twist and make my single, because the traditional warp is very loosely spun. Even though they spin it about 3 times, they're spinning it with that drop spindle, and each time is just adding just a tiny little bit of twist, and they're getting it to that really light, fluffy, twisted enough to hold together single that is used for weaving. I'm glad you're going to see the Dr. Mass Bandit. Oh my goodness. You know, falls are just really a problem, aren't they? My mother is constantly, don't fall. And she's, of course, right. Worrying about me with my knee, don't fall. So what I'm doing right now is pre-drafting this roving, and this is roving that I bought, Navajo Churro. Pre-drafting it out so that I got it just about as thin where it will just pull in with some twist. I learned a couple things. First of all, about the Shave 'em to Save 'em Passport program. Very, very good news. Originally, they set it up as a 3-year program, and the 3-year program was going to end December 2021, the end of December. And they have, because of the good response and the people who are providing the fiber would like to continue and all of that, they are going to make it a non-expirable program. So now, with unlimited time, it's open for anybody to go get the passport and explore these breeds if they're interested in doing that. I just really was glad when I read that today. I was like, yeah, that was something you needed to do. Now, the hardest part about this, of course, is to get enough twist to keep it together and not over twist too much, but twist it enough that when I untwist it, it's going to be... So why not spin it just the way I want it the first time? Because it's not as fluffy. It looks very, very fluffy, but it is much better if you unspin it a little bit. Now, they don't unspin it. That is not their traditional way. This is what I'm going for. This is a single. It is very bulky. It's a weft, right? You can see there's just a little bit of twist there. And the way I got this was to spin it once this way and then unspin it very quickly the other way. Mass Bandit, when I was working one time, I totally missed a chair. It was a rolling chair, and we would sit. I worked in a lab, and we would sit various places to do things, and it went, and I went down to the floor. I was very, very lucky that actually I didn't hurt myself, because I landed on that concrete floor, just like you're talking about. So I hope your doctor can help you. Are you currently on leave from work for workman's comp or anything? You probably have to have your doctor set that up. Been working. Yeah. good luck at the doctor's. I think that's good that they at least get an x-ray of it if you haven't had that. Okay, I have a big old pile here. One of the things that I catch myself doing here is treadling too fast. I don't want to treadle too fast. And I am trying not to get a thick and thin. It's not working as well as I want. Once I get going, sometimes it's alright. I have this set up for a very strong pull-in. And the reason is because the more pull-in, the less twist that goes in. The less pull-in, you can let twist build up more, right? So there's less pull-in is more twist, and more pull-in is less twist. This has a huge amount of kemp, which is those white hairs that are coarser than everything else. There is a huge amount of kemp in this. That is good in a way. That's what's going to hold this loosely spun single together, is those hairs wrapping around it. Even pre-drafting like I did, still not getting it drafted out the way I wanted. So for my passport, I have submitted 5 so far. There's 21 in all, and I have no intention of doing 20. I hope to do 15. And I know I'll do 15, but fortunately with them opening it up now, I don't have the urgency to get it done. I was gonna try and push and get it done before July, or June actually, when the Tour de France starts, and we all spin with the Tour de Fleece. So now I can spin some of it during the Tour de Fleece, and the other part that's going on is I'm down to only one of the rest of the fibers that I have to spin is processed already. The rest I've washed and I have to drum card. So there is a lot of work to do. I have been working on drum carding Jacob, and let me tell you, oh my gosh, those bats are just divine. I can't wait to show you. I will be spinning that on well, it depends on if I get this done Thursday, probably Sunday though, because I think I'll be working on this on Thursday too. It's going to take me a while to do this. Now, the other thing that happens when I reverse spin this is it kind of opens up to the same thickness, and I don't have this thick and thin. And really what it does is balance it. It balances it. In my trash can. What you working on today, Mass Bandit? You tatting? And no, I haven't tried anymore. Kind of been focused on processing fiber. I've been pretty low energy this week. It's not, I don't feel bad. I got my COVID shot on last Thursday. So it's not even been a week. And I don't feel bad. It's just real low energy. Just don't really want to hurry or do anything. It got hot here. It's summer-like. Humid. Rained overnight. But we're heading towards the 90s in another day or two. Didn't have a balmy spring. Had a lot of cold weather. Late cold weather. And then hot. Oh, you're going to go live? Okay. All right, well, have a great stream, and thanks for stopping by before you do. I'm sorry I can't go hang out with you, but I appreciate coming by and saying hello. I have been bouncing around on my times because we have been catching up on errands that we couldn't do during the 6 weeks that I couldn't drive. So, it just seems like there's always something that we got to go do at a time when I normally stream. So, and that is, I just said Sunday, but actually I can't stream on my normal time Sunday. Maybe I'll stream later in the evening. I think that's what I'll do. I hate changing the day. My daughter has a party to celebrate her graduation this Sunday, so for masters at college. So anyway, we'll be going to that. So I guess I'll change my time and stream later. I keep forgetting about it. So yeah, I keep bouncing around. Don't keep a real good schedule like I used to. People find me though. You know, it's good that they have that little alert thing. This is getting too thin. Can't get. There we go. You just stream every other day when you're not working, usually in the morning, but on days when your cleaning help comes, it ends up being in the afternoon. Yeah. Nothing worse than the vacuum in the background, right? Right. That's all right. See, like I said, people don't really depend on schedules, I don't think. They just depend on those notices. And that helps us have a real life, which everybody does. I hope that's in the music. I guess it is. Sounded like a game or something clicking. See, when I get it to draw out perfect, like all of this has been, it is just gorgeous. The staple length is real long, but there is short stuff in there, and that's what keeps catching and bunching up. But every once in a while you get a section that just, oh my goodness, it just so smooth and pulls out long, and get that nice even flow going with the twist. Hi, Jamie. Welcome. Yes, my t-shirt says, hold on, let me overthink this. I got this t-shirt because that is so true of my spinning projects. It's very rare for me to just pick up fiber and spin it. I've usually got a thinking process going on and a goal and trying something different and answering questions and all that kind of stuff. Comes from teaching it all these years. But I like this t-shirt. Let me overthink it. It's finally gotten warm enough I can wear my short sleeve t-shirts. Oh my gosh, it just felt like I was always cold for the last months. Yeah, isn't it great? I mean, we've been sitting on the porch. Of course, that means the outside work has to get done too. Yeah. I don't have my shorts out yet. We have limited closet space, so I store seasonal clothes. I sort of have what you wear in between kept out all the time. But, the true hot weather stuff is still packed away in the big chest. I was cooking supper last night and just about turned the air on because I was running the oven, but I didn't. Just opened up the door and let some of the cool air in. You're lucky you don't have the humidity. Mass Bandit, we are very humid here. In fact, it rained overnight. Jamie says she's been knitting socks like a fiend. But I just got to where the toe decrease starts, so I'm taking a break to do some chores and eat something and make some lemonade. And you're working on the Sock Madness sock, right? Are you doing 2 at a time? Yeah, you'll get the humidity. I know it. I did not. When I got this roving, I thought it was a very interesting way. It's not continuous. They had torn it off into these lengths. I'm not sure exactly why, but just it's all sorts of bits and pieces instead of one long roving. But you're on your second one. Woohoo! You're on your second one, and and you're doing the toe? I mean, you're almost done. Let's see, it came out, was it a week ago? I can't remember when it came out. Oh, wait, I gotta regrab this. First one took me 3 days, the second one's gonna take me 2. Yeah, I found that out when I was doing it. When I was doing it one at a time, the first one took me way longer than the second one. But what I started doing is knitting 2 socks to a certain point, like, go and do the cuff on both of them, then pick up the other one and do, down the foot, then do the other one. That's the way I was doing them. I had probably 2 inches left on the second one and ran out of time, so I got eliminated. But that was early. That was the second, not the qualifier, but the second sock. So I didn't last long. My biggest problem is I don't knit on it constantly, like you really have to in order to do it. I thought I would, with my limited locomotion capabilities of my knee and everything, I thought, I can just sit and knit. It don't work that way because I couldn't sit that long. It was actually harder post-op than it was pre-op. Hi, Chi-Chi. Hello. Take care, Mass Bandit. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, in tandem. That's what it's called. Okay. Nice to have a term for that. Yeah. And I always thought, well, it'd be best maybe just make one sock completely through to get all it worked out, and that would be very true if I was working for fit. But since they're working for knit it exactly like the pattern says, it really doesn't matter. How are you today, Chi-Chi? Glad you stopped by. Did you stop by thinking I'd have a tatting shuttle in my hand? Well, sorry. It's all about spinning. Oh, you've had a rough day. You were hoping. Yeah, I will get around to it. For one thing, after I do your butterfly, which is what I'm going to do, and get more comfortable with it, then I'm going to start looking at some of my antique sources of tatting patterns. See if I can find some easy stuff to do. And that I do on the stream. I used to have Throwback Thursdays, and I haven't gone back to it yet. But throwback being finding old patterns of knit, crochet, anything really from the old needlework magazines. I don't like that. Let me fix this. Really? That's a lot of butterflies. Okay, I will keep that in mind. I may have to do that. Oh, that'd be great. You can post them wherever you're comfortable. You know, in the that was on Mass Bandits Discord. I'll get them there. So it's evening time for you, time to unwind and rest. Hi, Punky Pink Cow. Long time no see, welcome back. Yes, it is. It's a 3D printed by Acreworks. They make bobbins for different spinning wheels. I don't know if it's that way, if that's exactly the right spelling. I know the AKER is right. I don't know about the works. They're here in the United States. Do like different ones with different designs, different colors. I got a pink one and a green one. And they actually come apart so that you can store them flat. I don't usually take them apart, but these each ends pop off, and then all you have is the shaft and the two that you can store flat, which is nice for the big bobbins. But I also found that there's more of a tendency to crack them the more you take them off and put it back on. So I have just decided to not take them off and store them like they're put together. They are pretty. The bobbins that come with this spinning wheel are very heavy and wood, and that's no problem. I like that. It matches and everything, but these being so light, I really like too. So I am spinning a breed for the Shave 'em to Save 'em passport. It's a breed that is rare, threatened, and it's called Navajo Churro because after the Spanish brought it here to this country, the Navajo Indians adopted the breed and started raising it, and it's what they like to make their rugs out of. So that's what the term weft is. It is the thread that you throw back and forth through warp. I don't have a big loom. I have a small tabletop loom that I can use. I am going to eventually do something with this, but right now I am just making yarn to submit to the passport program. yeah, if you can get the PVC that fits the shaft, that'll work. I don't know what they're using. I don't think they're 3D printing. Well, maybe they are. It's a plastic. Maybe they are printing the shaft. I don't know. I went to a fiber fair 2 years ago because didn't go to any in 2020. And they were there. AcreWorks was there, and they had their 3D printer there set up, and they were printing. And it was the first time I had seen a 3D printer. I'm very fully aware of what it can make, but I had never actually seen one working. So that was pretty cool. I said, go to a fiber fair where there's sheep and wool and yarn, and I'm standing there staring at the 3D printer, right? Anyway, the whole point about this being a weft is that it's going to stay a single. And I don't want to weave with a single that's this thin. So I am going to spin it the opposite direction, which will untwist it. And it's going to end up looking like this. Very thick, fluffy, just slightly twisted. This is what I want to weave with, so that, sorry about that, so that when you throw your bobbin across through the warp, you can fill up your space a little bit. You don't want a real, I need a bulky yarn, not a real thin one. So, just gonna stay single like you. Aww. What else is Chi-Chi saying? The best thing about 3D printers, it's really up to the creativity of the user, what it can do. I have a fursuit, animal costume head that's 3D printed, the base of it. Okay. Yeah, that is really cool. So there's lots of software direction to make a 3D printer work. Do I have that correct? And is it kind of like a design software? I have no desire to get into it, but I'm very curious. I didn't talk to the AcreWorks people. They were busy vending, talking to people and selling things, and so I didn't really talk to them about it. You kid, Pinky. Well, you know what, Punky? It is what it is. So, love your life. There's a lot to be said about living in a place where what you put down stays there, and, what you clean stays clean unless you mess it up. I've been single. I've been both. Oh, am I preaching? Yeah, right. There's quite a few softwares that work, yeah. But the 3D printer takes a mold you build in the software, and it builds it up in plastic. Okay. Wow. Whole different design element there. I was just sitting here thinking, yeah, I'll show weaving with this when the time comes, but Lord, I have so much yarn to make before I get the other projects, get to the other projects. Too many things. This shouldn't take too long to finish up though. Tail all this time. Looks around the room at the 50 unfinished projects that have been started. Yeah, very, very true. Well, I'm pretty good about getting things done to a certain point, and that the point is making yarn. If you were here, and I know some of you were the last couple streams, I was working on the alpaca. Right there it is. It's all done. I have, let's see here, where did I write it down? I have 284 yards. I had guessed 300. I was a little under. 284 yards, 2-ply. Got sparkle in there, and it's just really cushiony, soft. It's gonna just be something that you want to wrap around you a couple times, because it's really nice. So I was glad to get that done. So I do get a lot of yarn done. I just don't get anything else done. No, I don't have a particular project. In fact, what happens is, I put it all together with a bunch of other stuff, and sometimes a couple fall together and then they become a project, but it's not, I have too much that I'm working on as far as knitting and that sort of thing that I'm not actively looking for anything to do with it yet. One of the things I use Ravelry. I know not everybody likes it, but I use Ravelry, and one of the things I do is put a tag on there for handspun in my queue, or my favorites or whatever, so that I know that that particular project will work with yarn that is not commercial. It's, a little bit variable. Maybe it's a little thicker. I need projects for the bulkier yarns, that kind of thing. So I just hit that tag sometimes when I'm looking to decide. Tangled mess. There we go. What I'm doing is called pre-drafting. I'm just drafting it out to about the thickness that I want the twist to go into. It helps even up the single. There's only 4 ounces of this fiber total, and I've already used close to an ounce. Well, a little over half an ounce for this one skein where I was testing it. So, not going to be much to spin here. have to have a big wash up. I have a great big shopping bag full of yarns that I've spun since the first of this year. That's on my list for this week. Yeah. Sorry, hubby yelled a question at me. He can't keep track of when I'm streaming either. I told him when I was going to do it, but it's all right. At least he's not mowing like he was Sunday. What fiber are you getting? Ounces each of a few different things. Okay. Yeah. If you keep up on your socks in the sock madness, you're going to run into Tour de Fleece. So I'm going to work with 3 teams. One's officially joined, the other haven't quite set their teams up yet, but I know I want to work with them for the Tour de Fleece. The one is the Sock Madness. They just set their team up. And then the other one is Team Twitch. They have not set anything up yet. Maybe they won't. I don't know. And the third one is... can't think of the third one right now. And then there's a fourth one that I'll read their thread, but I probably won't spin with them. Oh, the Shave 'em to Save 'em has a team. That's the third one. Because that's what made me think of the whole thing to begin with. I was going to try and get the passport fibers done before Tour de Fleece started, and now there's no deadline anymore. They took away the December deadline, and second of all, they're encouraging people to sign up and join in on all the fun because now there's no deadline, right? And so I don't feel pressured to get it done, and they have a Shave 'em to Save 'em Tour de Fleece team, so I'm going to be spinning fiber for them. Each team kind of has their own, if you're not familiar with it, they kind of have their own theme, and sometimes they don't care what you spin. Sock Madness doesn't say you have to spin sock yarn. They don't care. Sometimes it's nice to spin, though, with the team-related theme. And the Shave 'em to Save 'em is definitely one of those. Oh, Corey Blueface Lester. Say it all at once. Merino, Shetland, and Rambouillet. Wow, that is a nice collection. Are they natural fibers? Are they processed? Are they natural fibers? Are they dyed? I have been making bats of Jacob that I washed, and it is gorgeous. I can't, that's what I'm going to be spinning next after I get this done. Oh my gosh, I am just so excited about this. I want to, dive in it and roll around in it and all that thing, because those bats, there is nothing more beautiful than a brand new made bat. It's all fluffy and just looks wonderful. In fact, I have had that thought that if I would ever vend again, I think that's one thing I'd focus on at the booth. I will just make you bats and send you home with fresh made bats. Can't mail them, they get squished. Can't store them, they get squished. I mean, it's like, a cookie right out of the oven. You gotta eat it right now. Well, on a bat, you gotta spin it right now, when all that air is in there and it's just so lofty and ready to spin up to a great yarn. So I've got 10 of them made. That's probably about half of the fiber. I am limiting myself to making 2 a day. I have to stand at the drum carder, and it doesn't take too long, but if I overdo, I will definitely hurt my knee. So I'm just taking my time and doing 2 a day. It'll get done probably in 10 days. Slow spinning, slow, everything's slow, right? Slow clothing, slow whatever, slow food. They're all roving, all undyed in natural whites, grays, and browns. Perfect. That is so wonderful. Okay, well, as far as variety, your Shetland is going to be the coarsest, and it's not going to be coarse, it's still going to be nice, but it's going to be, of all those, the coarsest. And probably the longest. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Well, you can't tell. You can tell staple length and roving, but you know what I'm saying. Your Rambouillet and Merino will be very similar, because Rambouillet is a partial Merino breed, and your Corriedale is going to probably be shorter than everything. But there will be. The Shetland and Corriedale will be definitely different than the Rambouillet and the Merino. Shetland can end up fuzzy if you spin it woolen. And, that's always a fun thing. That's so much fun, getting fiber, learning all about it. Well, that's what I have left. Not much. Getting there. this mess here. Bored with this music? I'm bored with this music. Let's find something else here. Let's go a little jazzier. Oh, I want to fix this. I don't like that. I'll end up totally unspun. That was a bad join. Oh, the blue-faced Lester. Well, forgot about that one. That is in the middle of everything. It, you know, it's not going to be, traditionally it's not quite as soft as Merino and Rambouillet, but it has the feel of, it has a softness. It just has a little more coarseness to it. I hate what I just said. Okay. When you spin merino, let's talk about your final yarn. All right. When you spin your merino, you're going to look at your single and say, oh, I got a really nice thin single, and you're going to apply it, and then you're going to wash it, and your wraps per inch is going to poof up. So you had maybe a single that you thought was going to make a nice 18 wraps per inch, and you're going to end up with 15. That's what merino does. It can be spun lace weight and thin, but it's a real struggle. Rambouillet is a little less, and it depends on the animal for all of this. It doesn't puff as much. It still has a little bit of tendency because of the merino. And then, so your final yarn for the Rambouillet is more likely to stay what you think the wraps per inch is before you wash it. The blue-faced Leicester is the next on the scale. It really doesn't change too much when your wraps per inch. and the Shetland doesn't hardly at all. And the Corriedale, it depends. There are very, very, very soft Corriedales that are short, stapled, and that short staple is part of what makes it change the dimensions when you wash it. So anyway, you're going to get what you expect with Shetland and with Blue-Faced Leicester. The Corriedale, you may or may not. It's probably the most unpredictable. And then the Merino and the Rambouillet, I would say be prepared for a thicker yarn than you thought after you wash it. Now, as far as spinning, it doesn't really matter how you spin them, okay? And since you've got roving, you're probably going to pretty much spin it all, pretty much all the same. And in fact, if you did spin it very much the same, you might then find out what I'm talking about when you wash it. Everything I say has the caveat of every fiber is different, because it's every sheep that it comes from is different. You know, a merino is not a merino is not a merino. Right? But there's basic characteristics that you can generalize on. So everything I say is pretty much a generalization. My preference is Shetland first. Let's see here. Blue-Faced Leicester next. Corriedale third. Rambouillet fourth, and Merino last. Those are the order I like them. And it really is going to depend on how it was processed. You know, how the mill did it, because if you get neps in there, it's going to be in the yarn. It's not a nice roving. It's going to be a lumpy, bumpy yarn. It's going to be nice, but for other reasons. It just won't be a smooth yarn. Just like this. Oh my goodness. I am really in a bad place here right now with this roving. It's all Kemp right there. And short stuff, and I don't want to throw it away. But let me go from the other end here. That just is nasty. You're very excited, and I am too for you. I told you that sounds wonderful. This fiber definitely has good and bad bits. I really didn't like this at all. You're excited for the Tour de Fleece. Oh, you'll join the Twitch team since I've done so many spinners on Twitch all of a sudden. Well, hello, Handcraft by Tara. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by the stream. Jamie says, I'll also consider the Sock Madness team. They're fun. They're actually very fun. And it's a big team, so you see lots and lots of pictures. You have to be kind of ready to do a fair amount of watching on Ravelry in the threads during Tour de Fleece. That's the hardest part. Oh, I haven't heard of the Queer Ravelry team. Okay. All right, it's toe time. You are going to get it. Awesome. You only work on a hand spindle. I never got to work out how, a spinning wheel works. Yeah. Wheel goes round and round. That's just silly, isn't it? It's doing the same thing you do with your spindle, though. It's putting twist into the fiber. Okay, you got 2 words. You plant dye yarn. You plant dyes for your yarn, or you make dye yarn. I mean, you make. Don't worry. Don't worry if it's not your English isn't your main language. I totally understand. Just asking for a little clarification. You make yarn and dye it with plant materials. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful. Do you stream? I know. um, do you stream handcraft? And back to the Tour de Fleece, Jamie, I tend to stream a lot more during the Tour de Fleece. So that is another cool part about being on Twitch at that time, because there are a lot more people streaming. Yeah. Tiny Magic Craft is your friend. Okay. Miniature houses are so neat. That is cool. Well, welcome to the world of streaming. I'll tell you, it takes a little bit to get going. Took me, I started about a year ago, not quite a year ago, in July. So in July will be my year anniversary. Took a little bit of getting used to. Figuring it out. I bet. That miniature stuff is so awesome. I love it. I'm the kind of girl that never had the dollhouse I wanted, right? And I should make it, but too far down on the list. Know that feeling, yeah. We all do. As creators and crafters and inspirationalists, the brain is always going and the fingers aren't fast enough to keep up with it. Let me show you my wheel, since all you're really looking at is the bobbin. That is the wheel. It is by Magicraft, and it's called an Aura, and it has the very, very big bobbins. These are 3D printed bobbins, but the wheel itself comes with wood bobbins like this. It's not a wheel that is very portable. It's very heavy, and so I don't tend to move it much, or I don't travel with it or anything like that. I'll keep it like that so you can see the wheel. Oh, okay. You probably have a great wheel or whatever. Big ones, I mean, there most certainly are ones that you don't actually sit at. Or they may be wide like this, like the what they call the Sleeping Beauty wheel that look like the traditional wheel. There's that style too. But great wheels are huge. I don't think I'd have room for a great wheel in my house, even though I have a big house. They take up a lot of room. They look like, well, and there is the history of they made the wheel out of wagon wheels, covered wagons that they would travel and then take the wagon apart and make a spinning wheel out of it. Don't know if that's true or not, but that's a folklore I've heard. Yes, I am working with a wool that is called Navajo Churro. It is a coarser wool that is traditionally used to weave rugs with. And after I run it through this way, I'm going to back up. I'm going to take this bobbin and run it the opposite direction and kind of unwind it a little bit so that the single that I'm making is more open and relaxed and would work as weft when you weave with it. Fill in that area that you're weaving. No, the rug, I only have a minimum amount of this. I purchased it in just a 4-ounce lot. So the plan is to spin the yarn and submit it to the Livestock Conservancy Shave 'em to Save 'em program. And in that, you buy wool from specific breeders of specific wools that then you spin, or if you buy the yarn, you knit, you just make something out of the wool. That's the whole goal of the program. And that's what I'm doing it for. I will probably make mostly like a hot mat. Something, I will weave with it, but I will probably end up with the size of something you could sit a casserole out of the oven on. But I love the natural color. The gray is just, the sheep come in a lot of colors. Besides white, there's browns and grays. But I love this gray. Thank you. It is that silver gray color. almost to the end of the fiber, almost done here. And then I'll run it the other direction and make it the nice soft weft I want. See, this is all one ball. I must have got an end lot of what they had. All those pieces. This is all one ball. Oh, that's all right. I'm going to break it up anyway. Because I can't spin it loose enough. The consistency won't remain as a single. It'll fall apart. So the putting the twist in throughout the whole thing, but then running it backwards and taking twist out means that instead of having a single that is, let me take this off here. Okay, you can see the difference in the thicknesses of the twist is still there, that yarn is still tight. Right, it's not going to fall apart. I can't believe that picture's upside down. All those pictures are upside down. Not all of them, but anyway, that's why. Because right now when I'm spinning, I'm getting something that is really not as thin and lofty. I mean, thick and lofty as I want. Now, the traditional Navajo people, when they were spinning for their rugs, they would card a bat and they would spin that bat very, very thick and loosely. And then they would take that, you can't pull on that, okay? But they would spin it again and go down to about half that, which is still a single, and it may be what they want to use, it may not, and if it's not, then they did it again. But they were not spinning with spinning wheels. They were spinning with a great big Navajo spindle that sits on the floor, and the top part sits right here, and you roll it against your thigh, and so that does not get a lot of twist, right? It's very gentle, controlled, just kind of like rolling the fiber on your thigh, right? When you do that kind of spindle. And that's how they would spin all of it. So they actually spun their single 2 or 3 times. The spinning wheel has way too much pull in and twist that if I just try and even pull it out like this, I'm still going to get a lot of twist, no matter how slow I, because that turn on that bobbin is so much more of a turn than it is with a drop spindle, Navajo spindle, not a drop spindle, but a Navajo spindle. I don't have a Navajo spindle. So I'm trying to mimic the look of what they got. And the only way I could do that was to unspin it. Does that make sense? I'm doing it in a very untraditional, traditional way. Gishtastic. And followed, and I missed that. I changed my little follow thing, and I don't think it's making any noise. Sorry about that. And there you are. Hello. Nice to see some work happening. Yes. And thank you for the follow, Handcraft. I really appreciate it. This is work. It's very, very pleasant work, but it is my craft, and I pretty much spin every day. I don't stream every day, but I do spin every day. What do? You say you work with yarn and thread. Sounds like maybe you are still a fiber artist. I think so many of the knitters and crocheters or whatever, I mean, they start there first. You learn that a lot of times young. It's very rare for somebody to start with spinning and then make, and then go to knitting or whatever. You do have to find a use for all the yarn you make if you don't sell it. So it's a given that you will end up knitting with it, or whatever, weaving. But I would say almost everybody starts with the fiber arts first and then learns to spin. You crochet and embroider, yeah. I like embroidery. I tried to make spin embroidery thread. It was not successful. It was not thin enough. It would be. I know. It's not a problem to put the plies together, but I'll guarantee you anything hand spun would not separate out. You know how you can pull off 2 strands off of the 6 of embroidery thread? You couldn't do that with hand spun. How they get that to happen is a mystery to me. It's machine mystery. So if I did do any kind of needlework that way, it would end up more like a crewel work or crewel work, maybe needlepoint, something like that. Not really an area I've explored. Using the yarn for that way. Oh no, they use silk. There's silk embroidery thread. Is there not? And yes, I have spun cotton, and that does not go well either. The time I was messing with that thought, I was working with a charka. And the charka and I are not well acquainted, I don't spin well on a charka. Oh, I didn't know they had the polyester threads. I guess they would, depending on. I mean, they do for sewing threads, I know. I tend to embroider little small projects, mostly Christmas ornaments and things of that nature. So I rarely buy floss. It's usually in a kit. It comes that way. The thing about spinning, you have to remember the history and the fact that people have been making, turning fiber into thread and turning that thread into cloth for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years before they had the spinning wheel. Everybody spun with a drop spindle. Everybody spun. I mean, it just was a necessity in order to amass that quantity of thread in order to weave. You know, they didn't knit everything. They needed to weave fiber, cloth. That's the part of the things that we forget. I tend to tell people when I'm doing this kind of thing at a demonstration that, you know, yeah, it's all well and good that we have this mechanized way of doing it, but think about the fact that the spinning wheel's only been around, you know, since the late 1700s, and that the Vikings sailed with sails many years before that. And those sails were made by making the plant fiber into thread somehow, you know. Most likely some kind of spindle. Gishtastic. You started embroidering, now you have so much floss. It was the way I started crocheting to want all the yarns. Yeah, well, when you start spinning, then you want all the fibers. One way that will prevent, unless you are an online shopper, you know, die-hard online shopper, it's a little harder to walk into a Michael's and find fibers spin. All right. So I say Michael's, but I mean any kind of craft shop. Now, some yarn shops will carry fiber for spinning, and you're lucky if you have a local yarn store that does. But on the whole, it's only really, at least in the U.S., very rarely available in a store. There's a few. Woolery's the exception. I mean, they sell fiber. So it's a very limited supply, though. And then there's all the people raising sheep, and they shear that wool off, and you end up buying it that way. It's not processed at all. And then you have to figure out how to get it clean and how to get it smooth enough to spin, and you're into a whole nother rabbit hole. Aw, you like roses? Put roses on everything? That sounds nice. I have seen the beautiful sheets that the edges are crocheted or cut work or whatever, and I look at those and I think, man, you know, women used to put a lot of love into their household items, and we just don't do that anymore. Oh, and the yarn shops are expensive? Yeah. Well, it's not cheap either when you end up having to pay shipping. Shipping is just really a downer sometimes when you're wanting to get something online. Yeah, I know. The best way is to get to a fiber fair where the vendors are there and you just go home with a car full. That's the best way to do it. I just missed the most recent fiber fair, local to me, was last Saturday. I was not able to go because I can't do that much driving, walking yet. It's not that local. It's 2 hours away. But anyway, it's probably a good thing because, I don't need anything right now. I have plenty. I can't say I'm cold sheeping. Have you heard that term? Not buying any wool, anything. But man, I'll tell you, I have not been doing too much shopping last couple of years. Trying to go through what I got. You're in Canada, okay. Yeah, well, that's part of it. Especially if they give that, over $75, you get free shipping. I mean, the Woolery does that. And I always call my daughter and say, what do you need? She's a weaver. So she a lot of times wants to buy weaving cones of yarn for weaving. But, so we can combine it and get free shipping. When a company does that, that's nice. And it benefits you and it benefits them. And so it's kind of a win-win. So $35 is a good baseline for free shipping. Was a nice thing. I had a few that I bought from Maryland Sheep and Wool, which basically the vendors you were directed to their stores, either online or Etsy. And I found a couple of them where they were doing that. They decided that if you bought a lower amount than usual, because as a special for the Maryland Sheep and Wool. Oh, and that was on your fiber that you were talking about. Yeah, that's good. That's a good deal. The shipping, that really is. And I'll tell you what, those squishy packages that come in the mail, they really do squish them. I mean, they look like great little pillows, They're really overstuffed pillows in the mail. Jantastic says, my last yarn purchase, I needed to get some for a rug I'm making, but the shipping was so much I ended up buying like twice as much as I actually needed to get the free shipping. So you're going to make 2 rugs, right? One for each side of the bed, right? Yeah. That's all right. One for me. You're saying I'll keep this one and I'll sell this one. Guess what? I'm out of fiber. But I'm not going away. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. We'll put the Be Right Back screen on. Take a walk break. And get a bite of something real quick. And then I'm going to come back and take care of this unwinding, all right? And that'll be pretty quick, fast, and then I'll be done with streaming. So hang on, listen to the music, relax, go out and get something to drink, and I'll be back in a moment. All right, I'm back. I had one of those little, they're called cuties. They're little tiny tangerines. That was just the perfect burst of sweet and tart and juicy and yum. It was good. All right, I'm going to take this bobbin off. Put the pink one on. This is called a Lazy Kate. It holds whatever you're going to either ply or whatever you're going to do with your bobbins. So that'll go down here. Hubby and I are going into our new nearby town after I get done streaming. Excuse me. And get a meal, probably to go, but I didn't want to eat lunch because it's close enough to that time that I didn't want to eat lunch, so eat a little snack. Alright, now I want a lot of pull in with this, so I am going to this. Yep, a lot of pull. Okay. No, wrong way. There we go. So now all I'm doing is just go in the opposite direction. It's untwisting. And see, that's how it untwisted already too much. So I got to figure this out. I don't want to untwist too much. It falls apart. I need to untwist just a little bit less. I believe it probably did fall apart when I was doing the test skein. I expect that happened.
Whenever I try to meet you, you're telling me something is just gone. You were a alcoholic man. Don't you know who I am?
And I am going to lay this over top. Since it's already untwisted so much, I'm going to lay this over top of that. That's a little thicker on the end, but that's alright. Now, go in fast. There you go. So there's the difference right there. You can see. It's a little hard to see, but and actually you don't think about it. You just run it through the other way and it'll relax and pretty much puff up on its own. I will keep it on this bobbin, this here bobbin, for a while. I won't take it off there for a while to let it sort of settle in on itself and twist up. But eventually, when I take it off and skein it up, it's going to look like this. It's going to be all fuzzy and slightly twisted and very lofty. Uh-oh, too much. It broke. You have to be a little gentle when you pull it. Every time I overthink it and think, oh, I need to, and I'm going to tie this, which is kind of weird, but it's better than trying to overlap it. Every time I try to overthink it, I end up breaking it. how much of this I'm going to spend up doing this. Yeah. Once it breaks, it's really hard to get it back together. Alright. Let's go to a more twisted area. Alright, tried and true method here. We are going to tie it. We are going to hand roll it onto the bobbin past the tie. Hope I went the right way. I think I did. Okay. Yeah, this feels familiar. The last fiber broke a lot. You figured out you had to put more twist in. And yeah, see, I was putting more twist in than you were saying, why'd you put so much twist in? It's kind of like backing up to what I really want, which is just barely twisted. Okay. Oops. I tell people on my podcast, I do this so you can choose whether you want to or not, right? You may figure out, like, I'm not doing that. She's crazy. That way. Even this doesn't look as thick as my test sample, but I believe that's because the test sample's been off of the bobbin for a long time, and because I did it like last October, and I think that this will too, once I put it into a skein and then tie it up a couple laces and take it off. I'm sure it's going to relax a lot more. The one thing I will not do is wash it. It's already clean fiber anyway, but I don't want to go through the process of wetting it until I have it in a final project, which is, like I said, probably the hot mat. A lighter weight drop spindle has the problem. Oh shoot! It has the problem that it doesn't spin fast enough to put twist in. So it gives you less twist, but it's very hard to control. At least I have a difficult time because the spindle, you start it, it goes fast, it goes slower, so, right? You don't get that consistent twist all through it with a drop spindle. Like you do with a spinning wheel. So if you're going for less twist, probably a spinning wheel is better. it's not. Try it. I didn't say it was a easy way to spin. It would be much easier just to figure out how to, being able to spin with less twist in it actually is, let me get this on here, actually is somewhat wheel related. There are wheels that do it better than other wheels. Okay. So that in itself is something to consider if you are going to try and go for a Lopi style yarn or whatever. You're going to want it to be able to have very little pull in, but go fast enough to give you twist, but not build that twist up. Yeah. The whole thing I like about doing this on a spinning wheel is the consistency of the treadling keeps the twist somewhat consistent, whether you're trying to put it in or take it out. And this also is a good thing to know. If you get yarn hand spun that it's way too kinky, before you ply it, run it through like this. If you have way too much twist, run it through. You don't have to completely untwist it like I am. I didn't put that much twist in anyway. So if you get something that's way over twisted, run it exactly like I'm doing right now before you ply it, and it'll be much more balanced. This is so fuzzy. It's all those Kemps, those white hairs that are in there. This is more twisted than the last part was. It's alright, I don't have to have it all completely untwisted. Still got some thickened thing going through here. Goodness gracious. Yes! Awesome! Where are you going to post them? Where are you going to... I want to see them. Where are they going to be? Oh, shoot. Discord. Oh dear. It is very hard to find the end when this breaks. Find my end. All right, let's see here. There, maybe. Oh, I'm not on that thread. Do it in Snoring Cat, please. I do have a Discord. Do you want the direct link? Oh, that didn't work. Should have worked. Okay, all right. It didn't work anyway. Alright, I'm in the process of trying to find the end here. Not working. Okay. The other, that's, okay, that's sort of unsolvable. I'm going to put a different bobbin on for the rest. Well, maybe I won't, though. End just really got totally buried. Okay, another bobbin. Or maybe if I take it off, I'll find it. Let me try that first. Thank you. Yeah, the link, most people don't find it, but I did. I put the link there. I don't know how I'm going to start this if I can't find the end to unwind it. I really think it went down in here.
Well, that's totally frustrating and a new one. I've never had that happen before. I don't remember spinning anything that color. I know I did, but I don't remember. Oh. Don't break anymore. Don't break anymore. Don't break anymore. Boy, you're a fast Kitchener. Probably not that many stitches in the toe, huh? I'm just about done here, so I'll be closing up the stream in probably 5 minutes or so. I knew that was going to happen. Because the bobbin down here on the floor is stuck on the end. There we go. And that was just enough tension to... Oh, and this is really... really getting loud. This heavier bobbin. Should have thought of that. Almost done. Boy, this is thick and thin. Packed. Get rid of that. All right. Well done. So, it'll be a while before I can show you the final on this, but most certainly is fuzzy, fluffy. Where's the other? That's a snarl. I am going to have a little bit of trouble getting this off. I can see that, but I'll work with it little by little. I'll figure it out. I'll get it. Skein it off, and I'm gonna have pretty gray yarn for the passport. All right, thank you everybody for hanging around
It's been a long stream for me, the longest I have done since March because of my surgery. I'm feeling good. I'm happy. I'm kind of back to normal, and that makes me happy. So everybody have a very, very good afternoon, whatever it is for you. I hope you're sleeping well if you have bedtime now. And I will be back on Thursday. Going to be a little bit early in around 11 o'clock because we got plans Thursday afternoon, evening. So, you all